Hi, and welcome everybody to the Winner's Circle Sports Betting Channel. I'm Ross Benjamin, the host of the Winner's Circle Sports Betting Podcast. Today I am joined by Mr. Jesse Shule of jesseshule.com and gamblersworld.net. We are powered by gamblersworld.com and gamblersworld.net, folks. You got to check out both sites. Gamblersworld.com is our video portion of our company, and gamblersworld.net is where you'll find 10 of the finest handicappers in the world, including myself and Jesse Shule. And had a nice NFL preseason winner yesterday for me, Jesse, as I had the Houston New England game under. We went 2-0 on the show with Doug, or on Doug's video on Monday, which covered both games last night. Doug had the Houston Texans, and I had the and again I'm going blank here, but I had the
You had the under.
I had the under in the Houston game as my premium play, but I had Seattle as my free play on the show. So sorry about that confusion, folks. You know, you do enough of these, they all blend in together, and once in a while you get a brain freeze. But anyway, Jesse, how are you?
I'm doing all right. I'm really excited about the NFL preseason, really excited about college football, and the English Premier League kicks off in a couple hours. I've got a premium play up for that. I mean, I've been pretty cautious. You know, I'm not going to dive into this preseason in week one and put out 5 or 6 plays like some guys do. And, you know, all the power to them. Everybody's got their own strategies, but that's not me. I want to sit back, look at what's going on, and make reactions when I see the opportunity to do so. And that's where I'm at right now. That's the space I'm in.
Yeah, and chase me down like you did last year. So,
well, let's only hope for my sake.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think I went 10-4. Well, anyway, folks, with that winner last night on the the Houston New England game under 37. That now makes me 19-10 with my NFL preseason pick since 2021, and 75-52 since 2010, which is good for 59%. Jesse, last year, tremendous record in the NFL preseason. What was it again, Jesse?
8-2 at most sites, 8-1 at sportsmemo.com, and I'm not sure where that other game went. It was probably something that ended up in a push,
right?
Where it was a loss at most sites, but if you got in early, you got a good line, you would have got a push, something along those lines. So that's where I was at last year. But 13-3 over the last 3 years, which is pretty conservative as far as not putting out a lot of picks, but that's a pretty nice winning percentage.
It certainly is, and you can make a lot of money with that kind of win percentage. You know, we always say like Jesse says, he errs on the side of being conservative during preseason. And people ask me all the time, Jesse, and say, well, you do so well in preseason. Why are you telling us not to bet more money? And it's just always been my policy. In preseason handicap, and I stake a lot on head coaching trends and player rotations. And as you well know, during the preseason, Jesse, there's still the miscellaneous factors we can't account for. And anytime I can't account for miscellaneous factors, it happens in the regular season too, but it happens more so in the preseason. And that's the reason why I say, you know, whatever you're betting during the regular season action, I like to keep it around 25% or in that area. As opposed to what I do during the regular season. Just the money management thing for me. I've always done it that way. I mean, do you have any general thoughts in terms of if a client asked you how much I should bet on a game in the NFL preseason as opposed to the regular season? Do you have a standard answer you give them in that regard?
Yeah, no, I truly believe you should be betting no more than half as much as you would normally be betting during the regular season. Like I said, I'm not nearly as confident in these preseason games as I'm going to be in some of the big games in the first month of the season. When you know that teams are playing for keeps, they want to win these games. Even as evidenced by some of the games we've seen already, the big second half comebacks and the things that can happen late in these preseason games that are very difficult to account for. You don't want to have too much at stake in some of these games.
Yeah, I mean, the Jets blowing a 16-0 lead in the Hall of Fame game to lose 21-16. Last night, Minnesota jumps up on Seattle 10-0, and the Seahawks roar back to win 24-13. So those are the types of things. And where Jesse's going with this is for those types of comebacks to happen, it's with backups against backups. And that's stuff you don't have to account for in the NFL regular season. You could be rest assured 99.9% of the time you're dealing with the elite starters versus the elite starters on the other side, or starters versus starters. Once in a while, an injury may occur during the course of a game to a key player, notably a quarterback, that could really affect the outcome and would have made you look at the game differently than you did. But you can't account for that. You can't predict injuries. So that's where we're going with this, folks. Anyway, Jesse, 2 games we're talking about today. I'm going to take a look at the Indianapolis and Buffalo game. You're going to take a look at the Tennessee and Chicago game. And both games are on Saturday, August the 12th, and both games kick off at 1 p.m. Eastern time. So I'm going to start with you. Right now, the Chicago Bears are a 3.5-point home favorite and a total 37.5 against Tennessee. What say you?
Well, it makes sense, Ross. Eberflus was 3-0 as a rookie head coach last year. He's demonstrated that he's not afraid to play some starters. I was watching his press conference the other day. He did note that he intends to play some starters in this game for at least a period of time. And you've got a Tennessee team that I'm not very high on. They've got statistically the worst ranked offensive line in football. Mike Vrabel, he's got a losing record for his career in the preseason. He's 2-2 in his career in week 1. I got a little bit of trivia for you, Ross. If you know what body part Vrabel said he would cut off in order to win a Super Bowl, you can tell me after I finish up here. Yeah, you don't have to if you don't know. But I question Vrabel. I don't think Vrabel's willing to cut anything off to win in the preseason, certainly by his past record. His backup quarterbacks, Malik Willis and Will Levis. Will Levis is a guy that, was touted as a high draft pick. And there's 2 camps on Will Levis. He's meant to be a pro, or what is everybody seeing that I'm not seeing? And I'm firmly in the camp of what is everybody seeing that I'm not. I'm in that camp. I'm not seeing it with Will Levis, so I'm not high on him. You got Bears with PJ Walker. He had his moments in what was it, XFL or
yeah, and he started a few games in the NFL. So I mean, for Carolina, but anyway.
Yeah, I'm not saying he's the guy you want starting in week 1, but for preseason, certainly adequate. The same goes for Nathan Peterman, a guy that's certainly got experience. He's been around the block.
Yeah.
And then Tyson Bagent from Shepherd College.
Yeah.
And I can't say that I know a ton about this guy, Ross, but I know if you make it to the NFL out of Shepherd College and nobody's heard of you, you must be doing you got to be doing something right.
Yeah,
so
you got to have some good measurables, so.
I think so. So I'm certainly going to say that the Bears are favored for a reason here. I think this is a game that the Bears want to win more than the Titans do. I'm going to take the Bears minus the 3.5.
Yeah, I can't blame you. The Bears minus 3.5 on Saturday afternoon and against the Titans. And of course, if this game was in a regular season, I would venture to say that it would be either a pick'em game or Tennessee being a small favorite, but it's not. It's preseason. You mentioned I did put the stink sign up for Nathan Peterman, but I want to remind folks, he won the starting quarterback job in 2017, I believe it was, for the Buffalo Bills, where he was terrific during the preseason in his time with over in Las Vegas or Oakland, whatever you want to call him at the time. he did well during the preseason there. So this guy shines in the preseason. It's if you put him under center with the bright lights coming on and going against starters, is where he's been terrible. And PJ Walker, the same thing. He started some games with Carolina, had a little bit of success, moderate success at best, but not an NFL starting quarterback by any stretch of imagination. But again, we're considering the fact that a PJ Walker, like Jesse alluded to, you put him in against backups, he's the kind of guy who could thrive in that situation. So it's a whole different way to look at things when you evaluate quarterbacks during the preseason. Yes, they're 3-0 straight up in ATS in Eberflus's first year. But this will be the first time the Bears will be a favorite in preseason action with Eberflus. He was a dog all of last year. And also, just a quick note on Mike Vrabel. The Titans have gone 4-1 to the over in the last 5 NFL preseason games under Mike Vrabel. So good stuff, Jesse. In any event, Jesse likes Chicago minus the 3.5 over Tennessee. I'm going to look at Indianapolis and Buffalo. This is strange here is this line opened at Indianapolis being 2.5. It jumped to 5.5, Jesse. And then the news came out Buffalo was going to play their starters throughout the first quarter of the game. However, no Josh Allen and no Stephon Diggs. And the line subsequently moved from 5.5 to 3.5. So my thing is that this looks tricky to me. Okay, because if you look at Buffalo's preseason record under Sean McDermott, 10-1 straight up in ATS in their last 11 in the preseason, and 5-0 straight up in ATS at home in their last 5 under McDermott. Yet here they are as a sizable home underdog in their opening preseason game. So I'm going to stay away from the side because between the line movement and everything else, it just doesn't make sense to me. I'm going to look at the total. And the total in this game is 38. And Buffalo has gone over the total in 4 of their last 5 under McDermott when the total is 38 or greater. They've gone over the total in 4 of their last 5 at home in the preseason action, with those games averaging 43.4 points per game. And I like the quarterback rotation when you consider preseason action, okay, for the Indianapolis Colts. It's been documented already. Anthony Richardson will get the start on Saturday afternoon. He's the prize rookie out of Florida, which I'm not like Will Levis. I'm convinced that he's highly touted, but I'm not seeing why. I know he has the physical capabilities, the arm, and all that. But he'll be backed up by Gardner Minshew and Sam Ehlinger. Minshew with plenty of starting experience in the NFL, and he's established himself a pretty good career. And he's one of the best backups in the NFL, and he's going to be facing backups every time he gets in. So he should shine in that situation along with Sam Ehlinger, who did start 1 or 2 games, I believe, last year for Indianapolis and was a fine quarterback in his years at the University of Texas. First-year head coach Shane Steichen for the Indianapolis Colts. He's the former offensive coordinator for the LA Chargers. I mean, there's nothing to go on in terms of him being a head coach, obviously. But I'd like to think that, he did a hell of a job with Justin Herbert. He's a fine offensive mind because the Chargers, although have more offensive talent than Indianapolis does, they were one of the higher scoring teams in the NFL under his guidance. And it's also worth noting last year, the Colts went 3-0 to the over in preseason action. I'm going to go Indianapolis and Buffalo over 38. Jesse, anything you want to chime in on in terms of that game that you could share with me?
It makes sense to me, Ross. Barkley has really lit it up in the preseason. Like you say, the Bills have been highly successful in the preseason. Oh, and you mentioned Richardson, and it's, I guess my thoughts are, it seems like people get really excited about seeing these high draft picks debut in the preseason as at quarterback. And we saw C.J. Stroud last night, and that did not last long. And that was sort of what I was expecting. I'm probably expecting similar for guys like Bryce Young and Anthony Richardson. I think we build these guys up too much.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong, but my memory tells me that when you build up these young quarterbacks coming out of college, only 1 out of 4, 1 out of 5 of them end up panning out, and the others go down in flames as busts.
I mean, like Anthony Richardson at Florida. Usually when we're talking about top-notch college quarterbacks, there's memorable games you could refer to. Even you mentioned Johnny Manziel the other day. Now, he was a first-round draft choice. He shouldn't have been. We know that. But you could look back, and like I said yesterday, automatically you think of the upset at Alabama and how he was so instrumental in doing that, and his scrambling ability and his creative style. Anthony Richardson is a great athlete with a tremendous arm. But can you honestly sit back and say, well, this guy, I distinctly remember him winning this game and being a monster in that game. Maybe if you're a Florida fan, you can. But I'm thinking in terms of they're looking at his athleticism and his arm strength, which it's well documented. His arm strength when he displayed his arm strength ability in front of scouts on his pro day. Is outstanding. But I mean, again, I got to see it done on the field. I remind people, and I don't mean to be disrespectful, but Jamarcus Russell also, I mean, he would throw from the 50-yard line on his knees and get it to the end zone. Okay. How did he pan out? So Will Levis, yeah, I agree with you, Jesse. It's like, what are they seeing in this guy that made him so highly touted and so coveted in the draft? I don't get it. I mean, I look at his time in Kentucky. Yeah, Kentucky won games with him under center, but you look at the numbers when he was there, their offensive numbers left a lot to be desired. They got a lot done by winning low-scoring games, correct or not?
Yeah, no, I mean, he in his senior year, he was really nothing to speak of. I think he had a decent year 2 years ago, and then last year, he really didn't do much. No, I mean, I think it's the same old story. I think that there's more guys that turn out like Josh Rosen and Sam Darnold than Justin Herbert and the ones that do,
or Josh Allen, or
yeah,
exactly. Patrick Mahomes. I mean, those guys. I mean, Josh Allen was not to bring up Buffalo again, but Josh Allen, there was a lot of people that weren't in agreement with him being such a high draft choice. And a lot of people, including myself, that said, I looked at this guy's senior numbers.
I didn't see it coming.
No.
I didn't see it coming. I mean,
I was pleasantly surprised. I mean, me being
and that Wyoming team wasn't exactly, an offensive juggernaut either, right? Like where he was coming from. I mean, you're going to pull a quarterback out of Wyoming. It's hard for me, that's a big step up playing in the Mountain West compared to the SEC or the Pac, even the Pac-12. So I did not see Josh Allen coming, but that's the thing. You see these guys like Josh Allen. He also wasn't a number 1 overall pick, right? I mean, he was picked lower down.
He actually Buffalo traded up to get him at number 8 in the draft. So, and the big knock.
Whereas guys like Darnold and Rosen were quite high picks.
Well, Rosen was behind him. Rosen lasted to number 10. But Darnold was, I believe, number 1 that year. And if you look at, I think one of the biggest knocks on Josh Allen was, number 1 is completion percentage in college, which was hovered around 52, 53%. And also when Wyoming did step up in class, he failed miserably. But sometimes you have to have the surrounding parts, skilled players that can compete at that level. And obviously, Brandon Beane was spot on. I was shocked, A, that he got drafted so high, and B, that he traded up to get him. So, and we know the success that Brandon Beane has had in his time in Buffalo. They just need to win a Super Bowl now to really cap it all off. Anyway, Jesse, tell the folks a little bit about what you've been doing of late and what you may have coming up this weekend.
Well, I haven't been doing much of late, Ross. I've been throwing out one baseball game a day this week, sort of doing my homework on football and getting ready to ramp things up. I'm starting that today. I've got the opening match in the Premier League. I've got a CFL game and I've got a baseball game up. So that's three plays for today. I do have one preseason NFL up for week one. That goes tomorrow. And yeah, I've got some extremely big boots to fill if I want to do what I did last year. And it's a little daunting, but I think I'm up for the challenge.
I certainly think you would be. And I'm going to pressure the hell out of you this year to catch me. So anyway, I'm off to a good start, not to be arrogant or count my chickens before they're hatched. But I did get off to a good start in the NFL preseason, as I touched upon. I had the Houston New England game under 37, never in doubt for the majority of the game. It ended up 20-9. I do have a pick on Friday, which we're recording right now on Friday morning. So you may see this video in time to jump in on that. You can get that at gamblersworld.net or rbwins.com. And again, folks, 19-10 since 2021 with my NFL preseason picks. 75-52 since 2010 with my NFL preseason picks, good for 59%. College football, I ended on a tremendous roll last year, including a 13-4 bowl season. So a lot of good things coming up for me and Jesse at jesseshule.com, rbwins.com, or gamblersworld.net. Jesse, be back on Tuesday again with you. And I wish you a happy rest of the weekend and all the best to you and the family. To you, those of you out there, folks, if you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, if you're watching on a PC, there's a WC logo right in the bottom right-hand corner of your video box. Just click on that. Real easy. It's absolutely free. There's no strings attached, no hidden agenda. You're just privy to some of the best sports betting information you're going to get on a daily basis. And our goal is always to make you a smarter sports bettor today than you were yesterday. And for those of you on a mobile device, which most of you are, you'll just see a black subscribe button right underneath the video box. Just click on that, folks. And most of all, Jesse, what do we want them to do with the like button underneath?
We want them to smash that like button like it's going out of style.
Yeah, he likes to be a little more animated, but for whatever reason on our platform, it cuts him off when he raises his voice. And I think his wife might have something to do with that because she's got some kind of contraption going in his larynx that muffles out the sound when he gets over a certain decibel level. Until the next time, for Jesse Shule and Ross Benjamin, we'd like to wish each and every one of you all the very best, folks. I will be back later today with Chip Chirimbus. We'll be covering the last two NFL games of the week one. And again, don't forget to check the archives as we have plenty of NFL preseason free picks for you on every game that's remaining, 14 games as of now. So again, folks, take care and God bless.